While there were certainly some contentious moments, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson really having to defend her record hour by hour yesterday, pushing back on oftentimes fierce lines of questioning from her Republican critics.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
This second day is known affectionately by a term of medieval justice known as the trial by ordeal.
With that warning, hours of intense questioning from senators followed, and so was the firestorm from the Republican camp. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina questioned her defense of Guantanamo Bay detainees.
Do you believe that's true, that America was acting as war criminals in holding these detainees?
Senator, the Supreme Court held that the executive branch has the authority to detain people who are designated as enemy combatants for the duration of the hostilities. And what I was doing in the context of the habeas petitions at this very early stage in the process was making allegations to preserve issues on behalf of my clients.
The sentencing of people convicted of child pornography was another contentious issue on display, as some Republicans charge that she is soft on crime.
And do you think that these laws are too tough, that we're too tough on sex offenders? Explain what you meant in this case in 2013, and it seems to be the same thing you said many years ago.
Senator, it's not the same thing I said many years ago. Many years ago, as a law school student, I was evaluating a new set of legislation, state laws about registration, and I was analyzing them as law students do.
Jackson pushed back, denying that she was lenient on sentencing in these cases.
As a mother and a judge who has had to deal with these cases, I was thinking that nothing could be further from the truth. These are some of the most difficult cases that a judge has to deal with.
Other Republicans, such as Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, questioned Jackson on some other broad culture war topics.
Critical race theory frames all of society as a fundamental and intractable battle between the races. It views every conflict as a racial conflict. Do you think that's an accurate way of viewing society in the world we live in?
Senator, I don't think so, but I've never studied critical race theory, and I've never used it. It doesn't come up in the work that I do as a judge.
Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee closed out the marathon day of hearings with a question for Jackson on gender identity.
The word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition.
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law and I decide.
And another line of questioning focused on the nominee's judicial philosophy. Jackson told the Senate Judiciary Committee how she would approach her job if confirmed.
I have developed a methodology that I use in order to ensure that I am ruling impartially and that I am adhering to the limits on my judicial authority.
As expected, Democrats gave Jackson plenty of opportunities to not only push back on the GOP attacks, but to speak directly to the American people about her life story.
Hopefully you all will confirm me, seeing me moved to the Supreme Court, that they can know that you don't have to be perfect in your career trajectory. But if you do your best and you love your children, that things will turn out okay.
And Ketanji Brown Jackson will be back up here on Capitol Hill today. She'll be facing the second round of questioning, the final round of questioning, Brianna, and that hearing is set to kick off in just a few hours.
All right, we'll be watching with you, Sunlen. Thank you so much for that report. And joining me now is CNN reporter Daniel Dale. Daniel, Many things to fact check. I think you were very busy yesterday. So let's go through some of these. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, who we just saw, but this is on Judge Jackson's attitude toward people who oppose abortion.
You made your views on pro-life and the pro-life movement very clear. And in fact, you attacked pro-life women. And this was in a brief that you wrote. You described them, and I'm quoting, hostile, noisy crowd of in-your-face protesters, end quote.
All right, what did you find here?
This was really misleading, Brianna. Senator Blackburn tried to repeatedly suggest that Judge Jackson had expressed general disdain toward women who oppose abortion, that Jackson had broadly disparaged pro-life women as a hostile, noisy crowd. But Judge Jackson did not do that. Here is what actually happened. In 2001, when Jackson was a young lawyer in private practice, she co-authored a brief on behalf of clients who operate and support abortion clinics. The brief was in favor of so-called buffer zones outside clinics, zones where pro-life activists aren't allowed to go up to patients. And Jackson and her colleagues wrote that activists who get in the faces of women outside these clinics, shouting at them, blocking their way and such, are a hostile, noisy crowd. So Jackson was most certainly not insulting, say, pro-life women sitting at church, as Blackburn hinted later in her questioning. You can find this brief yourself from Jackson online if you just Google the phrase hostile, noisy crowd. It does not say what Blackburn suggests.
Okay, so next, Republican Senators Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and John Cornyn of Texas claiming Jackson had described the U.S. government in general or President George W. Bush specifically as a war criminal.
You know, I've been a lawyer too, but I don't think it's necessary to call the government a war criminal in pursuing charges against a terrorist. I just think that's too far. I don't know why he chose those words. That's just too far.
You referred to the Secretary of Defense and the sitting President of the United States as war criminals. Why would you do something like that? It seems so out of character.
What did you find?
Brianna, both Senator Graham and Senator Cornyn left out really important context here. Senator Graham left the impression that Judge Jackson just generally called the government a war criminal in pursuing charges against terrorists. But no, Jackson actually alleged in 2005 that the government committed war crimes in its involvement in torturing and otherwise mistreating 4 Guantanamo detainees she had been assigned to represent as a federal public defender, all of whom were eventually released. Senator Cornyn was like, why in the world would you make her out to be some sort of lefty radical making wild allegations about Republicans in defending terrorists? In fact, this was a very specific allegation that very specific inhumane acts violated the Geneva Conventions. In addition, Jackson never explicitly called Bush and Rumsfeld war criminals. The phrase war criminals does not appear in any of these Jackson petitions. Now, it's a bit complicated, Brianna. She did argue that the respondents in her lawsuits committed war crimes. Bush and Rumsfeld were among the named respondents, but basically they had to be named as respondents in their official capacities under the rules for these kinds of filings. So people can debate how accusatory she was or wasn't here, but it's worth noting there was no sentence from Judge Jackson that says George Bush and Donald Rumsfeld are war criminals.
Yeah, the question really is torture a war crime, which I think John McCain, the late John McCain,
Sure.
certainly would have agreed with on
Absolutely.
that. Okay, Senator Ted Cruz on Jackson's sentencing record in child porn cases. Let's listen.
In United States versus Savage, the prosecutor asked for 49 months. You imposed 37. That was a 24% reduction. In United States versus Stewart, the prosecutor asked for 97 months. You imposed 57. That was a 41% reduction.
Okay, tell us about this one.
So there are two main things I think we need to know here. Number one, there are some key numbers that Senator Cruz did not have on his handy chart. He did not list what sentences the U.S. Probation Office, an arm of the court, recommended that Judge Jackson impose in these child porn cases. Figures released by the White House show that Judge Jackson's sentences were repeatedly right in line with that office's recommendations, and that she sometimes went higher in her sentences than the office recommended. Now, Senator Cruz correctly pointed out that the Probation Office reports were not publicly released to senators, but the White House did disclose the office's figures in these cases, and there's no reason to suspect that the White House is lying here. Now, number two, and Brianna, I think this is critical, it is totally normal for judges to impose sentences below the guidelines, let alone below what the prosecutors had asked for. There is a pretty broad view among judges that the sentencing guidelines for so-called non-production child porn cases, cases where the offender didn't make the pornography, are too harsh. In 59% of non-production sentences issued in fiscal 2019, the offender was given a sentence below the range of the guidelines. Less than a third of all non-production sentences that year were within the guidelines. So Senator Cruz is absolutely entitled to his sentencing criticism, but there is important added context here that shows that Judge Jackson is mainstream, not some sort of, lefty extremist.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much for taking us through all of that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.